Willems. Welcome to Lunch Doodles. You remember yesterday I asked you to get dressed up, maybe in something silly or something fancy. I got dressed up in something that is both silly and fancy at the same time. Maybe you didn't get dressed. That's okay. Or maybe now you kind of wish you had gotten dressed now that you see that I'm wearing my fancy glasses. So let's pause. Ready? Pause. You can go out and get something to go get dressed in. It could be something silly. It could be a little thing. It could be a hat. It could be a big thing. It's okay. Just here and I'll wait. Okay. You good? You figured it out? Yeah. Okay. Play. Hi. Welcome back. Let me take a look at you. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Wow. That's some pretty great stuff. Well done. Oh, I feel like my little outfit might want. All right. Let's get started, shall we? Day is Tuesday, March 24. Fancy day, so I thought I'd write 24 in a fancy way. Well, why are we all dressed up today? Well, because it's fun. We've been inside for a while. We haven't had a lot of excuses to dress up. And I have a special book that I want to show you the process of and some of the work that I've done. And it's about dressing up. It's called Naked Mole Rat Gets Dressed. Would you guys like to see some of the originals and some of the drawings from Naked Mole Rat Gets Dressed? And then maybe we'll learn how to do some of the drawings. All right, so I'm going to be going all the way over there. As you remember, the original art from my books are in these drawers. So I'm going to go see if I can find that. So I'm going to go, since it's a pretty big walk, put my hat on. Yeah, so it might get cold. Put my scarf back on. This way. When you're standing, you should have all of your buttons. That's what I was told as a kid in New Orleans. And I'll have my walking cane. See this cane? Look at that. It has a duck on it. It's because there is a hotel in Memphis that has ducks, and I got to be the duck master. I got to get all the ducks to go from the lobby of the hotel up to their rooms in the penthouse, and then they gave me this duck stick. Ready? Shall we? All right. Let's see now. Let's don't let the pigeon drive the bus. We're going to do that. Because the pigeon has to go to school. The pigeon needs a bath. Leonardo, the terrible monster. Oh, Naked Mole Rat Gets Dressed. You see that? All right. We're here, so I'll take off my hat, take off my cane, and it's not as cold as I thought it was going to be all the way over here. Take myself out, and let us open up this drawer. Wow. Been a while since I've seen all of these. Now, Naked Mole Rat Gets Dressed was drawn in watercolors by hand. Look at that. That is the original cover that I did in 2007. Right? So usually my art, I'll do the line drawings, if you remember, and then I'll scan those in. I'll color those in the computer, but this time I decided to do absolutely everything on one layer. There's Wilbur putting on some pants. Wilbur likes to get dressed all kinds of different ways, right? But not everybody else in the naked mole rat colony thinks that's a good idea. Matter of fact, they think that is a terrible idea. So they get angry at him. Let's see. They get angry at him. This again is in a frame. I'm just going to show something. There he is first trying to get dressed, and these guys poke their heads in. They're not happy. I did a lot of tests first. Look, that's an early test to see if that ink style was how I wanted it to look. I wanted Wilbur to look like that. And here are all the scandalized mole rats running away. Run. Like that. So, in the end, they discovered that getting dressed isn't so bad. It doesn't hurt anyone. So there's no reason not to do it. So some of them decide to get dressed, and some of them don't, because it's just not their thing, right? But they all decide to get along. And then years later, I made a musical out of it, and we turned it into an album. Naked Mole Rat Gets Dressed in a Rock Experience. We did all these little silly jokes that you saw real quick here. Off. Some of the original blues for that. Naked Mole Rats, different rockers. Alright. There we go. Yes, it says rhinestone teeth. That's good. So then, here is the chart of all the different steps of those 40 surfaces. Didn't go that bad. Went pretty quickly. I didn't have that many revisions. Although, I ended up making a very big revision. So here's the original book. And naked mole rats all have this flesh tone that's the same. And years later, we did an exhibit that's right now in Indianapolis. It's touring the country. And they had a naked mole rat get dressed game. And I realized that the kids playing this game didn't have all the same color on their skin. And I realized that even though naked mole rats do, the book is not about naked mole rats. It's a metaphor, which means it's an ideas that aren't real that you can make to yourself. So then I redid it, and I changed the colors of the characters so that they would more accurately reflect the colors of the people that I see on the street, and the people that are my friends and that I have dinner with, that I call and that I work with. I wanted to make sure that many different types of mole rats were represented. See that? That is the pigeon. And the pigeon gets in every one of my books. All right, shall we go back? I have some cool things to tell you about this book. Kind of excited. All right, my scarf back on and a big walk now. My hat, fancy hat. Fancy hat. Ready? Let's go. Pretty fancy. All right, I stuck that there. Yes. I'm not the only fancy one who's here right now, because you guys are dressed silly or fancy or however you're dressed, but my studio assistant decided also to get dressed like that. So let's see. Let's come all the way. There we go. So there he is. Vincent decided to wear his favorite bow tie, which he always wears at gala events. Looking pretty fancy, pretty gala event. Right? Thank you. Good. Well, I made this book many years ago, and it mattered to me a lot because something very special happened. When I was a kid, I used to love Peanuts. I love Charlie Brown and Snoopy. I love them so much. And I never got to meet Mr. Schultz. Sparky is what everybody called him. I never got to meet him. But when I was 5 years old, I wrote a letter to him. And it said, "Dear Mr. Schultz, can I have your job when you're dead?" And then I just waited, because that's what I really wanted to do. I wanted to draw Charlie Brown and Snoopy. They mattered so much to me. Well, he spent a lot of time not dying, but then eventually I grew up and I started my career and I did my things. And I got to meet Sparky's widow, Jean. And one day I was in his studio and they were showing me all of the original drawings and a bunch of his comic strips and his drawing table in his studio, which for me was very, very exciting. And I was just getting started my studio assistant is doing something. Hold on one second. I'm going to close the door because my studio assistant is just making a lot of noise. It's okay. So, back to Charles Schultz. I was at the studio and Gene Schultz gave me one of his nibs. And it was right when I was about to draw this book. Make him all right, get stressed. Now, what's a nib? You ask. Well, a nib is the metal piece that goes into an old-fashioned pen. This is an old-fashioned dip pen. And it doesn't have a nib. And here's my box of nibs. And Sparky Schultz's nib is somewhere in here. I should probably put it someplace a little bit more special. Let's see. That's the nib I usually use. And then that is, I think this is it. So what you do with a nib like that is you put it in this metal slot, and now you have a dip pen. And then you get fancy paper and fancy ink. This is all very, very fancy. And this is how I used to draw for years and years and years and years and years and years. And then I started using different pens and markers and brush pens. Take this, dip it in. And there's not so much ink there. It's been a while. You see the ink? Let's see if there's enough ink. Oh, there we go. And then press it, and you get a line. Yep, this is Sparky's nib. And you know how I know it is? Because it is hard to draw with. Oh man, when I first got this, I thought, oh man, I love his line, I love the way he drew. I did not realize that this nib was so hard to draw with. But it came at just the right time. Hard. Because it was when I was making this book, and I feel that Wilbur, the Naked Mole Rat, looks a little bit like Snoopy, sort of a big, off-balanced head. So that was a real thrill for me, the idea that I could draw a book with the same tool that my hero drew with. Wow, that was pretty incredible. Shall we learn how to draw Wilbur, the Naked Mole Rat? Let's do it with not that nib. So the line's going to be too small. Alright, Wilbur is pretty simple. His head is a bathtub from the top. See, it's kind of like a rectangle, but it's curved around all four sides. See? And making a bathtub. That is his head. Then, I take my favorite number 11. Actually, no, we had an extra digit. Number 111, even fancier. We go across, and we have the teeth. We do two upside down letter U's, letter U, letter U, and then the line. That's kind of like the 11 there. And then two dots for the nostrils, and then little dots for the eyes. And there you have it. It looks like Wilbur. Let me write my name, because then I'll know that I drew that later. There's Mo. One of the things you may notice about this character that makes him super tricky is he has no mouth. So I had to figure out ways to make the characters have feelings without opening their mouths. And the way I did that was with body silhouette. Silhouette is if you were to darken in all of the character, then you would have a sense of what they feel like, what they look like in a silhouette. It's a silly word, but it's the name of the French guy who invented it a couple hundred years ago. There we go. All right. Are you guys ready for question time? Let's do it. Let's do questions. All right. Today, March 24, who is your favorite author? Asks Ray. Well, I think we've already talked about it. That was Charles Schulz. He was the author of a comic strip called Peanuts. How many books have you started and not published? Asked the Lawson family. All of the Lawsons asked me. That's a very good question. I have written many books that are not published, and some of them from before I ever was published, and some of them after. Some of them just didn't work. So I tell you what I'm going to do. I don't think I've told anyone about this book. I'll let you see if you can play with this idea, because I couldn't make it work. The idea was called Billy and the Invisible Invention Machine. And it was about a kid who had a machine that made invisible inventions. And the problem with a machine that makes invisible inventions is that all your illustrations at the end are just blank pages. But anyway, didn't work for me. I spent about a year or two on it, and maybe you can come up with something interesting for that. Mr. Mo Willems, how, very formal, good. Well, I am, as you know, dressed up, so that's good. How old were you when you read your first book? Not exactly sure. I know that an early book that I read all by myself that I really liked was Sneetches on the Beaches. I thought that was a good book. Our favorite book, says Eliana, who's 10, our favorite book is Edwina the Dinosaur Who Didn't Know She Was Extinct. Our question is, why did you name her Edwina? Because that's her name. That's why I named her Edwina. There's another character there in that book called Reginald von Hooby-Dooby. And the reason I named him Reginald von Hooby-Dooby is I always have trouble naming things, right? The pigeon, his first name is the, right? Piggy is Piggy, elephant is Elephant Gerald. But I don't really like naming characters, so sometimes in an early draft, I'll just write Hooby-Dooby, because that means to me thing. I go, oh, hand me the Hooby-Dooby. What's the Hooby-Dooby? And in this case, with Reginald von Hooby-Dooby, the Hooby-Dooby stuck. It was a Hooby-Dooby done. All right. Emma and Jack, what was your favorite thing you worked on for Sesame Street? Well, for me, Emma and Jack, I loved making the cartoons. I loved writing. I was young. I started at Sesame Street. I was 24 years old, which to you sounds old, but it isn't. You're wrong. And I loved how much I learned there, because I wasn't by myself. I was with all these writers and puppeteers and friends with animators. So every day was like going to school at work. So that was my favorite thing, learning. Amanda asked, what kind of cookies does Pigeon like? All of them. Number 9, Nicole is asking, are Elephant and Piggy in quarantine together? What about the pigeon? Yes, they are. And sometimes Elephant and Piggy are getting on each other's nerves, because they're just, it's a lot to be so close to an elephant and a pig. And sometimes a pigeon is getting on everybody's nerves, but they all love each other. And at the end of the day, they get together and they doodle and they feel better. And speaking of that, why don't we doodle? Let's see what our theme is going to be today. I know we're so fancy and silly. Make them all act get stressed. Let's doodle some clothes. Doodle whatever type of clothes you want. I'm going to start with a t-shirt. And that's a t-shirt. Maybe later I'll cut these out and I can make paper dolls out of them. What I thought we would talk about while we're doodling these is, one of the things that makes drawings really fun is patterns. So let's doodle some clothes. special dots. That's fun. Alright, let's do a pair of fancy bell bottoms, which are coming back. There's nothing I can do about that. You know, a lot of things in this world you can't control, and bell bottoms being popular again is one of them. So let's do stripes. Oh yeah, striped pants. When I was a kid, I had to wear a lot of striped pants. There was not much that you could do about it because those were the pants in the pants stores. Striped pants. Let's see. I love, and used to really do this a lot, I love doodling fancy shoes. Andy Warhol used to do that. And look at this pattern. These are called wingtips. I don't know why, because you can't fly in them. When I was in college, I pretty much only wore wingtips. That is another way that I was different than other people around me. And my wingtips were always black. These are going to be purple. See all those little dots. Let's see what else. Oh, we could make some underpants. That's a good pair of underpants. And they could be checkered, like my pants. See? Really doesn't matter what you draw, but look how much more fun they get when you get patterns. And sometimes I like to just doodle patterns all by themselves because patterns are just really fun. Alright, I'm going to sign it on this side because I know that today I'm going to make my signature a pattern. Here we go. Here's my pattern clothes. Well, thank you guys so much for coming around today. And for getting dressed and fancy if you did. I really, really appreciate it. I'm not going to be fancy tomorrow. I'm just going to be dressed normal, but I do have a fancy magic surprise for you, I hope. So, I hope you have a great day. Thank you guys for watching. Enjoy your doodling and be nice to each other. I believe now, goodbye. I'm thinking maybe tonight, who knows? Maybe I'll have a fancy dinner. I have a fancy dinner party because I'm already so fancy.